Hey y'all, it's Caitlin. So today's video is recorded on the 14th of December. I'm planning on either posting this around my birthday, which is the 30th, or New Year's Day, obviously the 1st of January. And by the way, if I haven't posted my last random video that I just now filmed yet and you guys haven't seen, nothing's wrong with my neck other than I suffer from eczema and it's found a new place to annoy me at. So, and it's gonna, anyway, it's not itching or anything right now. It's just gonna keep showing up and it's gonna bug the crap out of me. But anyway, so I wanted, I'm not trying to copy any other channels, first of all. I'm not trying to copy any other channels, but I've seen some people before do what I want Funko to do, or Funko wants, or something like that, of just characters or fandoms that they want pops of. Now, and I'm not trying to copy anybody, but I just think it'd be fun, so I'm gonna do it at least this once. Maybe it'll be a reoccurring thing on the channel, I don't know yet. Depends on how much fun I have doing it right now. But that being said, before I start, let me just say, a lot of people really complain, I want to say another word, but I'll use complain, about what fandoms Funko does not choose to do. It's not like Funko can go, yes, we're going to make this character, we're going to make that character, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Unless it's Freddy Funko or a Spastic Plastic character or another toy line that they have the master licensing for, like I think Rick and Morty, and do they have it for, they have it for another one, I know, and I think it's Five Nights at Freddy's, but I'm not entirely sure. But unless it's something that they have a master licensing for, or it's totally their own, they have to have permission. I don't think a lot of people understand that. There is a licensing issue with this. They can't just say we're going to do, I don't know, what's a Rogue? Okay, they can't just say we're gonna do Rogue and Gambit from X-Men, because Rogue and Gambit have a different licensing issue than the other X-Men do. So they have to go through special permission, and that permission hasn't been granted yet. So instead of just complaining all the time about what Funko can and can't do, just appreciate what they're doing now. So this video is not about me complaining about Funko not doing this. This is just something I personally would love to see happen. And if it doesn't happen, oh well. If it does happen, obviously I'm going to be into it. So I'm just putting that out there. I really hate when people start complaining, especially when something is so unnecessary about stuff like that. Funko does a vast array of different fandoms. Their motto is everyone's a fan of something, and that just shows how vast their library of pops is. So I think we should just, like, appreciate what they have, anticipate what's coming, and just have fun with it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this community, is to have fun in our joy of collecting. So chill out. Anyway, so this list is going to be comprised of 5 fandoms that I would love to see Funko Pops of in 2019, or anytime really. But now, I did make a rule for this list. First off, everything on this list is a TV show. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it is. Either a TV show or a cartoon, so didn't mean for that to happen, but there you go. But I'm not choosing anything that's already had a pop made for it. For example, I would love to get more Supergirl pops from the CW show, or more Sailor Moon characters, but we got Supergirl for NYCC, and we've gotten 2 waves so far for Sailor Moon. So even though I would really love to see more from them, they're off the list because we already have some. So these are fandoms that, to my knowledge, Funko has not touched yet. So and I've been collecting a while, so I'm pretty darn sure none of these have happened yet. So I would just really, really love to see them. And they're not in any really particular order. I'm just going down the list that I made, okay? So No countdown or anything, just here we go. So the first one that came to mind was I actually wrote it on the back of one of my flaps from my advent calendar. Anyway, so if you see me looking down here, that's what I'm looking at, the list. But this was a cartoon that I was really into as a kid, and I still enjoy watching it now. I can see, like, they don't really show it anymore on actual, TV, but you can find it, like, on YouTube or other places like that. And it's a show called Totally Spies. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this show was a riot. Okay, so it was centered around 3 girls, Clover, Sam, and Alex, and they were 3 teenage girls who went to school in Beverly Hills. And they did your average, teenager thing. They gushed over boys. They went to the mall a lot. And they did, school activities. They had a rival at school, all that kind of stuff. And they were also international spies. They worked for the World Organization of Human Protection, WHOOP. And it was amazing. When I first watched the show, they do a lot of back-to-back episodes, 2 back-to-back episodes. So the very first time I was watching the show, I was really little, probably about 7 or 8, I don't know. I watched the first one, I thought, oh, this was kind of cool. Watched the second one, and that was the first time, y'all, that I truly remember my mind being completely blown. Because I was like, they're wearing different clothes. Holy crap, they're wearing different clothes. Because, in cartoons, they always wear the same outfits. Every single time they wear the same outfits in every single episode. But because these 3 characters were either depicted at school, at home, or, on a mission, or at the mall, they showed them all with different clothes in every episode. I think they recycled outfits on them probably like 3 times per character through the entire series. So that was amazing. Sometimes they would even mix up the hairstyles. So I thought that was really awesome. I don't know why, but I just loved that as a kid. Cause I do know why. It was so different, and I liked it. And there was still, action involved. There was still girly stuff involved. And I honestly know a couple of guys who watched the show, and they loved it too. So it was definitely a show that other people loved. All people loved. I know my best friend and I still kind of gush about this show sometimes because we love it. And I just think it would be really cool to have, like, common versions of them in their spy outfits. Their spy outfits were always the same. Clover wore the red, Sam wore the green, and Alex wore the yellow. But in their street clothes, they were always different. So it'd be really cool to see, like, their regular, or their spy outfits into the common, and then make chase versions of them, all 3 of them, in their street clothes. I think that would be totally awesome. It would totally make sense. Why am I this is the same thing, the problem I had when I was a kid. I kept watching Totally Spies, and I kept saying the word totally all the time. You watch, I'm gonna say that word at least 20 different times in this video, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Because I can still remember my friend Greg asking me, why have you been saying totally so much lately? I'm like, I don't know. I knew, I just wasn't going to tell him. I didn't want him to tell I was being brainwashed by a cartoon. Anyway, I would really love to see Totally Spies being made into pops. Another one is a show that ended last year, I believe. They had 4 seasons, 4 glorious seasons, and they would have gone for more if one of the actors didn't take another role on another show. But it was called The Librarians. Guys, if you haven't watched this show, find a way to watch it. I know they're on DVD because I own them all. I haven't gotten season 4 yet. I need to get on that. I don't own season 4 on DVD, but I own the others. But basically, it's a show about magic. So there's this place called the library, and it's basically like a storage facility, kind of, for all magical artifacts in the world. And the library is an entity all on its own, and it chooses a librarian. The librarian is the person who guards the artifacts, make sure that they don't get into the hands of humans, and to gather more up, again, to make sure humans don't mess with stuff they don't understand, pretty much. Obviously the librarians are people who are very smart, very versatile, and very well adapted to, you know, the things that magic can throw at them. So, and they also choose a guardian. The guardian is the brawn to the librarian's brains, so to speak. They protect the librarian and, you know, in turn protect the library. And this particular, in the first episode, the library chooses 3 extra librarians on top of the one that it already has because such a large threat is looming. All 4 of these guys are completely different from each other. Their guardian is just trying to make sense of the whole magic thing, first of all. That's what she's really trying to do. And then just make them more cohesive and more of a team. Meanwhile, the main librarian is not so much of a team player. Not because he necessarily hates the other librarians. Well, there's one that he kind of doesn't like. But just because he's not used to working with a group. And so they have to really learn how to work together. And each of these characters are so phenomenal. The character storyline and the development with each and every one of them was perfect throughout the entire series. It was perfect. I cannot think of a better way to show off these characters in the way these writers did. Plus, there was an extra character called Jenkins, who was kind of like the custodian. I forgot what his real role was called, of the library, and he was kind of like their version of Alfred. And he was my favorite character because he was so hilarious, and I loved him. So if we got a pop of all the librarians, plus Eve, the guardian, and Jenkins, that's pretty much all the characters, and I would love it. Except for the villains. They had a big bad in every episode. Or not in every episode, but in every, you know, season. It would be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the next one, you know, I'm actually going to skip that one. I have it written in the middle, but I'm going to skip it and save it for last. For a reason. So the next one is another show I watched when I was little. I was even younger watching this show than I was Totally Spies. This was a show targeted towards preschoolers, and now that we have the Teletubbies, obviously, preschool stuff is not off the table. This was a show called Dragon Tales. So it was about 2 little kids, siblings, a brother and sister, who move into a new house, and in their new playroom they discover this magic dragon scale. And they see this little poem on it, they read it aloud, and the scale activates and takes them into a world where instead of humans living, there's dragons. And all these dragons have, like, you know, their own personalities. Obviously, they can all talk. It's a kid's show. And, you know, they befriend these dragons. They sometimes even go to school with these dragons. It's really, it was a very, very cute show. And one thing they did, the dragons all had these little dragon badges, I'm pretty sure they were called. And what happened every time that particular dragon overcame a fear or did something, you know, outstanding or something meaningful, that dragon badge would glow, kind of like their little star sticker that your kindergarten teachers gave you. That was kind of like that. So I know sometimes we complain about, you know, small changes on Pops, but if they can make like variants of those characters with those dragon badge glow in the dark, I would totally hunt those variants down. Totally. I know some people would be really annoyed with it and most people just wouldn't care, but I would absolutely love it. I truly, truly would. And the kids, eventually there was a 3rd kid added, and there were 3, well technically 4 main dragons, because two of them were 2-headed dragons, so 2 heads, 1 body. But each of those kids would used to ride on those dragons' backs. So if we got like standard pops of, you know, the pink dragon's name was Cassie, and the human girl's name was Emma, I'm pretty sure. So if we got like single pops of them, but then like maybe a rides version where Emma is on Cassie's back, that would be really cool too. That would be really cool too. Or even just, you know, 86 the common pops and just make the ride. That would be awesome. So the next one, now this one I think I've talked to Tylock very briefly about, and we both agree that this would be awesome if they did. Now Funko has been doing a lot of sitcom series lately. Obviously they've done Golden Girls, they did Married with Children. I hate that show. Married with Children this year. They did Brady Bunch. They're doing Modern Family as we speak, pretty much. I think those pops are supposed to be coming out. So, there's one series that struck out from the 90s that I think just about all of us watched and all of us loved, and that was Full House. So, obviously, I'm sure most of you already know what Full House is, just in case. So, Full House was about a single father who had 3 girls to raise, and he brought in his brother-in-law and his best friend to help raise these kids, and it was just completely hilarious throughout it all. It was just totally hilarious. There's 2 more totallys. There's no telling how many times I've done that in this video and not even noticed. But, I knew it was gonna happen. But Full House is a show that was very common, I want to say, in a lot of households growing up. For people around my age, we all watched Full House as a kid. There were definitely different other shows that I would love to be seen in pop form, but this one I think is the most relatable. We have Fuller House now. It's on Netflix. I haven't watched too much of it. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes and that's it. But if we got like a 3-pack of all 3 of the girls, and then maybe a Joey figure with those puppets of his, that would rock. I hate puppets. I absolutely cannot stand puppets, but I would love to have that figure. Just not an actual puppet. I have a thing. No. Especially ventriloquist dummies. Oh my gosh, I hate those things. Hate them so bad. I'm not a howdy doody person. So the last one on the list, the one I skipped it because I'm afraid I'll get a little bit too emotional, and I didn't want that to happen at the end of the video. So the last one is a TV show that's currently on now. Out of all these shows, it's the only one that's currently running. And it's Black Lightning from the CW show. So Black Lightning is phenomenal. It truly is. I did not think I was going to like it as much as I do. CW has a really amazing way of, even at least with their DC shows. I don't know about the others because I don't really watch all the others. But and I only watch 3 out of the 5 DC ones. But they don't shrink away from what's happening in the real world. A lot, if you watch Supergirl this season, a lot of it has to do with the hate crimes and immigrants and things of that nature. And obviously that's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. And Black Lightning deals with a lot of Black Lives Matters situations. And I think all of that stuff needs to be brought into the light, and CW is doing it in an incredible way. They're still bringing the fantasy and stuff in it. They're doing it with aliens and with metahumans, but they're saying this is what's happening now. We're taking our own spin on it, but this is what's happening. And they also put in very real type characters to go along with these storylines. And one of the characters in Black Lightning is Anissa, his oldest daughter. Anissa in the comics is gay. She's a lesbian, and that was something that they never tried to hide in the TV series, which I was very happy to see that. But there was one thing. Now, I never read any of the Black Lightning comics or anything, so I had really no prior knowledge to them, other than seeing them in just like small little tidbits before the show. So I don't know to what extent this went out in the comics, or even if it was mentioned or not. I don't know. But Anissa, when she got her powers, she said they were a gift from God. I'm a lesbian, and I'm a Christian. Growing up, I literally would brainwash myself into thinking that I was straight, because I felt like I had to choose between being me and being a follower of God, because that's all I ever heard before. If I had known of a character when I was a kid who was gay but also a believer of God, who worshiped God, who prayed to God still, even after she came out and everyone accepted her. I cannot tell you guys how much my life would have been changed. I see a lot of young people now who, when they come out of the closet, people are telling them the exact same thing that, you know, I had heard all my life, that you have to choose between the two. And, you know, their family saying choose God, and, you know, their friends, or their gay friends really, are saying, no, choose yourself, don't worry about that, that's nothing. And if you're someone who was raised in the Christian faith, now, if you're someone who honestly doesn't believe, I respect that. I respect it. Whatever. I'm just talking about me personally. And I know others who have thought this way before. If you're someone who's raised in the Christian faith and you really do believe, the thought of God hating you puts a lot of anxiety on you. And you feel like you're ready to die. You feel like you're ready to just die because you can't take it anymore. If I had a character that I knew of back then, it would have changed my life. I'm someone who's very comfortable with who I am now. I have no problem saying, yes, I'm a lesbian, yes, I'm a Christian, and I don't care who says what. I'm not letting go of either parts of that of me. But back then, it wasn't the case. So if I had known of a character like Anissa, it would have changed my world. And that's why I want more merch of her. Just so I can totally fangirl over this chick now, because every time I watch her, I just think back to that. And it means a lot. Obviously, if I had to redo the inspiration challenge and this pop existed, that would be on it. But anyway, so let's... Sorry for that. Okay. Did not mean to go all emotional there, but that's why I saved it for last, because I knew that's what was going to happen. So anyway, gotta stop that now. So anyway, guys, put in the comment section what you think of this list. Is there specific characters from these ones? Do any of you guys remember watching any of these, or do you continue to watch any of these? And do you agree that these are characters that need to be made into pops, or at least the show itself into pops? And put your best wishes for the new year. Is it a specific character that you want? Because if I had to do specific characters, this list would have been a little bit different. Anissa obviously would still been on it, but it would have been a little bit different. I'll tell you right now, Zatanna... Why haven't we gotten a Zatanna pop yet? But anyway, let me know what you want Funko to do in 2019. And remember what I said at the beginning of this. Don't start complaining just because your every little need isn't being met by a company who literally has their hands tied when it comes to their licensing agreements. So be cool about it. Anyway, but seriously, I would love to hear all y'all's opinions on that. And sorry again for getting a little bit emotional there. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me and watching all the way through this. And remember, it's a community, not a competition. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.